And welcome everybody to the channel. I am Aesop Grimm, and this is the intro video for a chronicle I'm about to start on Mass Effect 2, using the character that I developed in Mass Effect 1. This is the Legendary Edition. It has Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in it. And so, as per usual, up front and center, the primary purpose of an intro video for me is to give you a content briefing so you know what you're getting into. Let's start with the ESRB rating. It gives it a mature 17 plus. This is the official ESRB Entertainment Software Rating Board. 17 plus, mature, for blood, drug reference, sexual content, strong language, and violence. And the rating summary reads like this. In this action role-playing game, players' objective is to defeat an alien enemy that is silently abducting entire human colonies. Players must assemble a team of henchmen, command a spaceship, and travel to distant planets across a futuristic galaxy. At its core, the game involves a combination of conversation and interaction with characters, and ground-based, i.e. run and gun, space battle. Players use assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, and pistols to kill humans, robots, and aliens in the frenetic third-person firefights. Some enemies emit large splashes of blood when shot, particularly with headshots. Several enemies lie stagnant in pools of blood, factors for the mature rating. Henchmen are able to freeze and shatter enemies, engage in melee attacks, set robots on fire, and use telekinesis to disable aliens. A handful of cutscenes depict dramatic interrogations in which human characters are threatened, punched, kicked, and shot in the leg by alien creatures. The game contains themes of illicit drug use, addiction, and trafficking, often focal points to the branching storylines. For example, Morinth, quote, Morinth likes dancing while on a drug called Halix, end quote. Quote, narcotics flooded my veins when I attacked, end quote. And quote, the Asari injecting so many drugs into me was terrifying, end quote. During the course of the game, players may enter a bar where alien pole dancing exists, choreography highlighted on big screen monitors, or hear suggestive comments such as, quote, Krogan's sexual deviance enjoys Solarian flexibility, end quote. And, quote, if this is just about sex, maybe you should just effing say so, but they actually say the word, end quote. Players can also choose to have, quote, romantic encounters, end quote, with the alien/human henchman characters. Well, they don't call them teammates, they call them henchmen. This involves watching a guided cutscene in which two characters flirt, kiss, and/or embrace. Clothed alien/human characters may prop a partner on top of a space console, clear away the clutter from a bed slab, unzip a future blouse, or just talk it out. Though an alien/human may gyrate her hips while on top. Wow, what am I reading? Fleeting 1 to 2 seconds. Actual sex is never depicted. The camera cuts away to space furniture and ceilings. Whoever wrote this. Whoever wrote this that's funny. Oh man, that's actually pretty funny. Okay, well that tells you why it got the M rating. I didn't read that beforehand. That was live. On that note, I feel like I'm outing myself or something. On that note, Mass Effect 2 is my favorite of the three, but not for any of those reasons, I promise. That was weird. Alright, I've got another reading to go through. This is my go-to site, really. This is commonsense.org. They give it an age 18 plus rating. They give it 5 stars. That's the first time that I've seen a game get 5 stars, I think, from Common Sense Media. They call it an extraordinary sci-fi sequel with mature content. Parents are saying that it's age 14 plus with 33 reviews. The kids say that it's age 13 plus with 47 reviews. So again, I find it kind of interesting that parents and kids are actually rating relatively close to one another. Normally, I would expect the kids to skew much lower or the parents to skew much higher. But let's see here. What parents need to know? Parents need to know that Mass Effect 2 is for mature audiences only. The subject matter is adult-like, including violence with blood, profanity, drug references, and sexual imagery and discussion. This game takes place in the future, throughout space and with aliens, and has a fantasy setting. Players must make moral and ethical decisions and live with the consequences of those decisions. Yeah, it doesn't really match up with the parents age 14 plus and kids age 13 plus, does it? but but anyway, it's y'all's call, obviously. Um, just going real quick, there I see two individual comments here. Chris P, an adult, says he says it should be age 12 plus. Gives it 5 out of 5 stars. Says this is one of the greatest video games of all time. This is one of the greatest video games of all time. The story is fantastic. Combat is great. Mechanics are wonderful. The final mission was the most intense, exciting experience I've ever had with a game. Make sure to import a character from the first one for the best experience. There is some blood and a couple of harsh scenes, especially if you play as a renegade. Language is minimal, the worst offenders being the occasional F word and SH word. You can drink in bars and pass out, but nothing graphic. You can choose to have sexual relationships with other characters, but no real nudity, and it's all very tame. There are also some areas with strippers, but it isn't that bad either. Overall, a fantastic game for everyone to enjoy. Grayson, an adult, says he rates it at age 18 plus and gives it 5 stars as well. Amazing open world game with tons of moral decisions, consequences, and tight combat. If this game is a movie, I would have rated this movie as R for strong sequence of sci-fi action violence. Sequences, I should say. Mayhem and destruction, suggestive materials and dialogue, language, sexuality and innuendo, excessive drinking, and disturbing images. Why? Because collectors, he says, is trying to abduct all human to turn into monsters. Secondly, it has tons of inappropriate dialogue, including violent reference, sexual comments, and much more. Thirdly, it has huge amount of cursing. Shepard can also unlimitedly drink alcohol at any time with no expectation and without getting trouble. There are some grisly image or disturbing image in the Mass Effect 2 game because Shepard can incinerate enemies, and then enemy become melted into ashes filled with fire. That can be scary for younger people. This game is perfect for adult and not good for the kids because of adult-like sexual activity and many suggestive dialogue. I should recommend your child to wait until they are 18 and up. All right, so you have two different takes there. And I think that's probably one of the most well-rounded, full spectrum reviews that I've been able to give on a game. So we'll end the review section on that and talk about what it is that I'm doing. Again, we are importing Aesop Shepard from Mass Effect 1. He is a Vanguard. And as I mentioned, this was my favorite of the three. And I don't even consider Andromeda, for those wondering. That to me is not even part of this franchise. To me, it's Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Andromeda is almost like a side shoot or one of those things where you would make another series based off of a popular one-off character in another video game series. It's kind of like that. I really truly don't even think about Andromeda. I've never watched it on YouTube. I never played it. I never had any interest in it. So for me, the canon, the series is Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Everything outside of that is just periphery. And of those three, this was my favorite one. So we'll be playing as a Vanguard. I remember that Mass Effect 2 really overhauled the some of the base principles of how the game would operate from Mass Effect 1. I think I've heard it spoken about in terms of a little bit less RPG and a little bit more run and gun, fluid combat style, and it worked out pretty good. And I like RPGs, but that balance that they found in Mass Effect 2, it was gripping. It really pulls you into its story, and it's from the very beginning too. It's from the opening scene, you know. So I don't really think I have anything more to say than that. We are. Oh, I should let you know. We are romancing Liara. I've never done that before. In fact, whenever I played Mass Effect, I think I just didn't even romancing. I thought that was weird. Oh no, I did. Both are true. I did think it was weird. I'm like, you're doing what? That's that's weird. But then I kind of like uh it sort of roped me in a little bit, and I ended up romancing Tali in the first one, and then I had to let her sacrifice herself. I talked about that in the intro video for Mass Effect 1. It was like actually an emotional experience for me. It was tough. But in this series, I chose to take what most consider to be the canon, most natural romance, and the one that was best well written for the game. The one that the game seemed to say this is the default, and that was Liara. And so we're going to keep that up in Mass Effect 2. The plan is for this to be kind of an epic romance through all three Mass Effects. And that means that I will be making a choice. I think it's in this game regarding Liara that will be the opposite of what I did whenever I played this uh, when it first came out, you know. Um, so that's all I can really think of to say. Maybe one more thing is letting you guys know that via the first one, with the way the dialogue was going and the potential matchups there, uh, me as a player, I guess, channeling through Aesop Shepard as a character, there is there is some attraction there with Ashley, and it's something with her personality and things like that. So we might have room for a little bit of, I don't know what you might call it, tension or something, but I don't plan on doing any kind of cheating or anything like that. This is supposed to be about Shepard and Liara. And I'm just never been real big into the theme of I don't understand it, you know, like if I understand, I don't know. Let's not get into real life stuff, but I just, you're not really going to see that angle from me as a player. I don't get people who do that unless it's a spur of the moment, like, oh, I had too much to drink and something messed up. But you know, so you're not going to get that angle from me. So we're trying to romance Liara, and the plan is to romance her throughout Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and to have this feel like kind of like a Star Wars kind of trilogy where you have all this character development and these interactions between compatriots and lovers uh, over a series of 3 games. That's kind of what I'm trying to reproduce. All right, well, at 14 minutes, I think that's enough on that subject and this game as a whole. And I will see you. Well, I guess I should say I'm Aesop Grimm, and thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you give a couple episodes a shot, see if you like my play style and narration style. And but even if you don't, really and truly, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world, I really do wish the best for you and yours. I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. And I will see you in the next episode, hopefully, where this story begins.